Y'all know I wrote a book, right? It's called Buy a Game and it's free. Click the link down there, you got it.
DreAllDay.com.
We're talking about accurate thought. I know a lot of you have heard of this guy named Napoleon Hill, author. He was a speaker. He was basically like a teacher, a philosopher, I guess you could say. He wrote the book Think and Grow Rich. He wrote a couple other books, and I'm reading one of his books now. And if any of you are familiar with his writings, if you read anything from Napoleon Hill, you know he often uses this phrase called accurate thought. And the thing about accurate thought is this: how many of you at any point in your life ever had a teacher or a boss or a parent or someone who was in an authority position, someone who was an authority figure relative to where you were in life, tell you something that you had to accept it as true just because they were in a position of authority, but later on in your life you got some more information and you realized that they didn't even know what the hell they were talking about, that what they told you was absolutely untrue, it was wrong, it was false. Maybe they had the wrong information, or maybe they was just telling you something that was, maybe they told you something that they thought was true, but it turned out it wasn't true, or they knew it was a lie and they told you just because they didn't feel like trying to find the right information. How many of you ever had that happen? Had somebody just tell you something that was completely false, and then later on you realize that it wasn't true? Maybe as a youth, maybe as a student, as a child. I know it happened to me. My mom used to tell me, I remember I used to ask my mom, hey, because they used to teach us in school that those wires that be up on the telephone poles, where there was electricity going through the wires. And they said if you put your hand on a wire, and this is when I was in school, the teacher said if you put your hand on one of those wires, it would electrocute you. You would die from touching that electricity wire. So then one day I asked my mom, I was like, Mom, I heard in school that they said that those wires have electricity in them and you could get electrocuted if you touch one of them. And she said, yeah. And I said, so why do the squirrels and the birds get to run on those and land on them and they don't get electrocuted? And my mom was like, because birds have certain things on their feet that keep them from getting electrocuted when they touch the electrical wires. I don't know if my mom just didn't know. Obviously that was wrong. I don't know if my mom just didn't know that. I don't know if she just didn't feel like explaining it to me, or I don't know if she just didn't want to go get the information, but of course that was wrong. I later on found out that the reason that the squirrels and the birds could run on the wires and not die is because electricity always travels downward, not upward. So if they're on the top of the wire, they wouldn't get electrocuted. That might even be wrong. Who even knows? The point of it is this: accurate thought, and the reason I'm talking about accurate thought, ladies and gentlemen, is the way that you learn to think independently and not trust anyone's information other than your own. If you hear information from someone that is not your own information, it is your job to verify that information. Make sure the information that you have been given and you have been fed is actually accurate and something that you can actually use. The last thing you want to do is have your mind full of facts and information and opinions that are not yours and may not even be based in any type of truth, but it was taught to you, handed down to you, pressed into your brain so much that you're not even able to recognize what was taught to you from what you actually know to be true. That's what accurate thought means. Accurate thought means you have independent thoughts that are not something that somebody else pushed on you, somebody else forced on you. And also, even if you happen to agree with someone else's opinion, you have a reason for agreeing with it. Like, you have some actual knowledge and information based on your own real life experience. The questions I get often from young people, athletes, and people who are not even in the sports, they ask me questions about, how do I handle this thought process, or what should I do about this situation, or I don't know what I'm going to do in my life. I don't know what steps I can take next. Well, the answer to those challenges, I tell people all the time, is, listen, you're never going to know until you start doing something. You don't come to somebody else, I don't care who they are, how successful they are, and ask a person to tell you how to think for yourself. That's the thing about accurate thought. When I was in high school, I had a teacher. His name was Mr. Barr. He taught math. I think this is 11th grade, maybe 10th grade. He taught math. And when I was in school, I don't know if y'all still do this. Is anybody in here who's younger than me? I'm about to be 34, so I know a lot of y'all younger than me. Any of y'all in the American school system had to buy those Texas Instrument calculators still? We used to have, it was a TI, I think it was like an 89, then it was like a TI 91, then it was a TI 92, something like that. Any of y'all use those calculators still in school for math class? But let me know. If any of y'all still use those calculators, let me know. But we used to have those calculators. This is the late 90s. We had to buy those calculators. Y'all still use those calculators? That's crazy. So we used to have to buy that calculator every year for like $100. We would have, our parents had to buy the calculator. We didn't buy it, I had no money. So our parents would buy this calculator for like $100 from who, we don't know. and we get this big calculator. It was like the size of the phones that we got now was that calculator, right? So if we had to buy that calculator, we'd be in math class, and the teacher, Mr. Barr, he would ask a question, right? We'd be in class, he's teaching, he asks a question, he'd say, what is the answer to this? And he'd look at the class, and everybody in the room, when he asked the question, what would we all start doing? We would all pick up our calculators and start typing on it, trying to figure out the answer. And most of us ain't know how the hell to use the calculator. We ain't know none of that stuff. I don't remember nothing that I was taught in math class through high school or college. So we start typing on our calculators, and the teacher would get mad. Mr. Barr would be like, yo, he wouldn't say yo, but he would say, guys, y'all got to understand this. The calculator is merely a tool. All the calculator does is give you computations. You put in some information, it's going to give you an answer based on the information you give it, but the calculator cannot think for you. Calculators cannot teach you how to think, ladies and gentlemen. He used to always say that. Anytime we start picking up the calculator, he'd be like, listen, yes, the calculator costs you $100, but it's just a piece of computer. It can't teach you how to think. You can't think that the calculator is the key to you learning this information or not learning it. Now me, I happened to pass the class. I was smart enough to kind of figure some of it out, but I didn't study that much. I didn't care for the information because I realized very early on in my education that what was being taught in the school wasn't going to get me where I wanted to go in life because it was a different direction. But the point of it is this. Tools cannot do things for you if you don't know how to think, because you gotta have to understand that a tool is only as good for its use as the person who's actually using the tool. So if you give a tool to a person who has no idea what they're doing, they're not going to get anything done. But you give a tool to somebody, even a mediocre tool to somebody who's great at what they do, they're still going to do better than you. So for example, if you was playing golf with Tiger Woods and you had the best golf clubs known to man, whatever those happen to be, even though you had the best golf clubs, you're not going to beat Tiger Woods in golf, even if he has some cheap used stuff that he got from the local public golf course. Why? Because Tiger Woods is pretty good using the tools that are given to him. Tiger Woods knows how to think the game of golf better than you know how to think the game of golf. And the whole point of accurate thought that I'm explaining to all of you today is this. You must learn how to think for yourself. Now I know there may be situations in life where you don't know what to do next. There may be situations in life where you haven't been in a certain situation before. There may be situations in life where somebody else's guidance might possibly be able to help you get from point A to point B. Do I mean that you don't go seek information from other people? Do I mean you don't listen to your coach when you're on the basketball team? Do I mean you don't go get a consult from somebody who has some more experience than you? Does that mean you don't go get coaching from somebody who might be able to help you get from point A to point Z a little bit faster? No, that's not what I mean. What I mean is, there are points in your life where you're going to have to make decisions for yourself, and you must train yourself to think accurately on those points. That means gathering information that is yours and not accepting information that comes from someone else unless you know it for a fact to be true. Which is why whenever I'm doing these scopes and I'm giving you all information that you might not otherwise know, I say to you, listen, don't believe every single thing that I say just because I'm saying it, just because I'm on this Periscope and I told you I did all these videos and I did this and I'm that and I'm an entrepreneur and I wrote books. Don't believe anything that I said just because of that information. You believe what I say because you take what I say, you measure it against what you know to be true, and then you ask yourself if it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, you throw it away. Don't use it. Anything I give you that doesn't make sense to you based on what you know, you throw it away. But my job as a speaker, as an author, as an empowerer, is to give you information that you can measure against what you know. You can take what you know, I can relate what I say to what you know, and you can understand that it does make sense based on the information that you had before I start giving you my information. See, that's a skill of communication. See, I can sit here and say a whole bunch of abstract things that might go over your head. You won't understand them, and they can be absolutely true, but if you don't understand it, you can't measure it against what you already know, then you can't use it. It's of no use to you. Now, I'm basically speaking over your head. It's kind of like when you go to college and you got a class, hello to you too, you go to class and the teacher is teaching something that you just completely can't understand at all. That's the teacher's fault. That's the teacher's failure in communication because they're not able to make it relate to the level that you're at. Now, maybe you just didn't listen enough at the previous class and you got passed even though you didn't earn it, and now that could be a whole different conversation. But the point of what I'm saying is this. Accurate thought, ladies and gentlemen, means you learn how to think for yourself. You train yourself to think for yourself. You train yourself how to find your own information, how to vet your own information. And when someone gives you information, you know how to measure it against what you already know. Does that make it? Somebody just left a comment. I didn't catch that. You can repost that comment. But I want to make sure that makes sense to people. And if you want to learn this in a more a more concrete way, a completely organized thought that explains it perfectly, you can read Napoleon Hill. Anything that he ever wrote, read it. I think he got 3 books at least that I know of. Outwitting the Devil is the one I'm reading now. He wrote The Law of Success, and of course he wrote Think and Grow Rich. And if you got Apple Music or Spotify, whatever streaming music service you listen to, Amazon Music, look up Napoleon Hill, you'll see his stuff. His lectures, they're like an hour long. He got like 20 hours worth of lectures on those music streaming services. So you can find all that information right there from Napoleon Hill. He talks about that. He came up with the idea of accurate thought. And the thing that I was thinking about with accurate thought that I didn't even mention is that when we go to school, or we're raised by our parents, or we go to church, or maybe even if you have bosses or certain leaders in community organizations, whatever it is that you do, we get a lot of authority figures in our lives giving us information that may not necessarily be true. And a lot of us find this out as adults. When we get to adulthood, we get to the age of maturity, we realize, like, listen, the thing that our parents was teaching us growing up actually wasn't true. When my mom told me about birds and squirrels on the electricity wires, was not actually true. Now, I don't know why she gave me information that was inaccurate. Maybe she just didn't know. Maybe she just didn't feel like explaining it to me. Maybe she didn't think she could tell me the truth because she didn't think my brain was advanced enough to understand it, but it was wrong. So what all of you had to learn to do as you get older, as you get smarter, as you become more accurate in your thinking, is question everything that you've been taught. Question everything. I mean, absolutely everything. There's nothing that can't be questioned. You know how scientists, how we able to prove the things that we know about gravity, about the planets moving the way that they move, the way that speed works, the way that we can explain velocity and chemistry and all that stuff? That's because the scientists out there, all they do is question things. If you know anyone who works as a scientist in the fields of science, all they do is question things all day, every day. Every single thing that they see and hear, anything that's presented to them, they question it. Why is that true? How do you know that to be true? And this is a question that you can use. Here's the last thing I'm going to leave you with. Whenever you're talking to somebody who's giving you some information, and they're saying it as if they know it to be true, they're saying it as if it's a fact, and you don't know it to be true, here's the question that you ask, and this is how you can learn to start to glean information in life. How do you know? This is the question that you ask. Add this phrase to your arsenal of questions when you're talking to people. How do you know? Has any of you ever had somebody tell you something that it was kind of like, I guess we can call it gossip? They telling you something that happened to somebody else, or something that somebody else said, or something that they think to be true about another person, but it's not actually factual because there's no factual information to be found. And you don't know if they really know it or they just giving you gossip. This is the question that you ask that person. How do you know? How do you know? See, when you ask a person this question, these are the kind of answers that you get. See, when you ask somebody, how do you know? Here's what people usually do. If they don't have real information, they'll say, oh, well, everybody knows it. Or they'll repeat what they just said as if, like, if they repeat it multiple times, that means you're going to eventually accept it. Or they'll say, well, somebody else told me. That's how you know people don't have accurate information. That's inaccurate thought. You want to stay away from inaccurate thoughts, ladies and gentlemen. Inaccurate thoughts are the type of thoughts that lead you into doing the wrong things, believing the wrong things, and then you end up ignorant of actual information. So start using this phrase. Anybody you're talking to, when somebody gives you some information, ask them this question: how do you know? Even in school, use this on your teachers. When your teachers tell you something, how do you know? Just because it's printed in the textbook, or it's said by somebody that's standing on a stage, or it's spoken by somebody who's in front of a classroom, or somebody who has a suit on, or they have a certain title, or they wrote a book, or their name is up on some bulletin board somewhere, it does not mean that their information is accurate. That's something that all of you need to understand and adopt this mindset through the rest of your life. Just because somebody said something, I don't care who they are, where they came from, who told you about them, it does not mean that what they say is accurate. If you can't take what somebody else tells you, measure it against what you already know, and then understand it to be true, then you need to start using the question, how do you know? Do I go to church? I do not go to church. I go to Work on Your Game. Work on Your Game University is my church. Triller Killer, I appreciate the question though. Or they say they instead of they. Yeah, exactly. What is a cult? I don't know. You need to go look that up in the dictionary. See, again, this is what I'm just talking about. Don't take my word for it. Go look it up in the dictionary, and then you can ask the dictionary, how do they know? And then just keep asking people, how do you know? Eventually, you'll get to the truth. If you're interested enough in the truth. See, most people are not interested in knowing the truth. They're just interested in getting any answer. You don't understand it, then it's your job to start understanding it. That's the point. That's the whole point of this scope, is accurate thought. If you don't understand something, then it's your job to make yourself understand it. It's not somebody else's job to make you understand. It's not your school teacher's job to educate you. It's your job to educate yourself. I'm 25. I want to thank you now and coaching me involvement in life. Well, I appreciate that. Cerebrum Uncaged. I like that name, Cerebrum Uncaged. That's a good name. Well, you're welcome. I'm glad you finding some use in this information. Because what I do, like I said, I'm not trying to tell you, don't look at me as like the school. Don't take anything that I say for face value. Don't believe anything that I say. Take everything that I say, measure it against what you know, and ask yourself if it makes sense. That's my goal, is to help you understand based on what you already know, things that you didn't already know. But what I do is link those two things together. I appreciate that. Gifted Soul ENT, I appreciate that. So just to close up what I'm saying here. Don't believe anything that anybody tells you. I don't care who they are. Measure it against what you know. You didn't know if I know or not. Well, I do know. There's a lot of things that I know, but you don't know that I know. So you got to ask me, how do I know these things? See, when I'm telling you stuff, I'm telling you stuff that I know from my knowledge, skills, my experience in life. You understand what I'm saying? What's the biggest thing I discovered in life? The biggest thing I've discovered in life is that we all have free will to think and act as we please. That's the biggest thing. Because that basically, what's the word I'm looking for? That applies to anything you could do in life. All right, this person got to get blocked. I don't know what's wrong with them. It's like a 5-year-old standing next to their mom. They keep saying their mom's name until their mom say something. We're talking about accurate thought, George Hyde. You can watch this on replay. How do I know what? Again, ask yourself the question, does it make sense? Now, if it doesn't make sense, then you can ask, how do I know? Does it make sense? Do you have free will to do what you want? Do you have free will to think what you want? If the answer is yes, then you already know how I know. Now, don't use the question inaccurately. Well, thank you, Troll Killer. I appreciate that. What's up? Living by God. Grace checking in from Virginia. What city in Virginia are you in? I got some friends in Virginia. Portsmouth, Virginia. My friend, damn, I forgot what part of Virginia she just moved to. I forgot the name. I know some people in Fairfax, Richmond, Newport News, Virginia Beach. Is it Virginia Beach? Yeah, Norfolk, Virginia. No, what beach is that in Virginia? I think it's Virginia Beach. I forget the name of it. But anyway, ladies and gentlemen, what we're talking about here is accurate thought. Don't accept anybody's information other than your own. If it doesn't make sense to you based on what you already know, then your question is, how do you know? Now, I don't know that person. Who is V with? Close to Newport News. All right, shout out to Newport News. Lorenz Player said, my name dropping cities. No, I'm actually telling you places that I know people. What do I need a name dropping city for? That don't even make sense. The best tip to develop confidence is to read my book. It's called The Super You, and is all about unlocking and living with your highest level of confidence. You can get it at DreAllDay.com/Amazon. If I think you don't allow others' opinion to matter, then I think if you don't allow other opinions to matter, yes, you have free will. No, you have free will anyway. Because listen to your question. If you allow other people's opinion to matter, then you are choosing to do that. You have free will to allow other people's opinion. You just said the word allow. The operative word is allow. If you have the choice to allow or not allow something, then you have free will. So you have free will to value other people's opinions. You also have free will to ignore every opinion that's thrown your way. You have the choice. We all have a choice to accept opinions or not accept them. We can accept someone else's information, or we cannot accept someone else's information. You all have the choice. You have the choice to accept everything I'm telling you as true. You have the choice to say, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. I don't believe nothing coming out of his mouth. That is all a choice. Does also talk about being fearless. It talks about confidence. Confidence in general is about fearlessness is a part of confidence. So when you block someone, you kill their free will. No, I don't. If you block someone, you're not killing their free will. Listen, this is freedom. You have freedom of speech to say what you want. Doesn't mean I have to listen to it or let you say it to me. See, this right here, I control this because this is my stream. So if somebody says something crazy to me that I don't like, I can block them. They can still say it, but I'm just not going to hear it here. So they still have free will. I still have free will. All right, can I take one more question and then we wrapping this one up, ladies and gentlemen? My name's DreAllDay. For those of you who don't know me, Lynn's Player said, I'm confused. No, I'm not confused at all, son. That's why I'm the one doing the stream and you the one in the comments. Now, if you know better than me, then you can start your own stream and we'll see if anybody wants to hear what you got to say. What's up, LSZU? Remember, we live in a society that have effect on our progress. What do you mean by that, C. McDougal? Be more specific. Grayson, you're asking the wrong question in the wrong stream. C, I'm waiting for you to give me some more information about that. Anastasia said, I think you're nervous a little me. No, I don't think you know me as well as you think you do. I think you got some inaccurate, I wouldn't say information, but that's an inaccurate assessment. You started that we allow people's opinion to matter. Yes. People's allow, you have a choice. You have a choice to allow or not allow. See, that's the point. It's not that you have to allow. You have a choice. Somebody can give you an opinion and you can accept it, or you can reject it, or you can just completely ignore them and not even listen to what they have to say. You have a choice of doing whatever you want. Each individual has a choice. Everybody in the world could say whatever they want. You can choose to listen, not listen, ignore it, accept it, reject it, argue with them, debate with them. You can do whatever you want with what somebody else does. Everybody has free will. So that's the most important thing that any of you can take from anything in life. You have a choice, as to especially what you think. You understand? We all have our choice of thoughts. You can think whatever you want, no matter what's going on around you, no matter where you at, no matter how much money you got, how tall you are, what country you from. You have a choice of how you think. But if you don't allow it, may prevent growth in the work field. What do you mean? If I don't allow what? If you don't allow, it may prevent growth. Be more specific. I don't really understand what you mean. If I don't allow what? If I don't allow someone else's opinion, work growth for who? Do you mean for me? Or do you mean for that person? People's opinion to matter. What do you mean by matter? Be more specific when you're saying matter. See, matter is a relative word. See, somebody could say that this stream matters because you're paying attention to it, but there are a billion people in the world right now who don't even know what Periscope is. None of what I'm saying matters to them because they're not even aware that it's happening. So you understand the word matter is a very relative term. So when you say something matters, mattering is a matter of opinion. See, something can matter to me and not matter to you. Some people it matters who wins the presidency, some people it doesn't matter. Even though we can all live in the same country, we got the same president, but it might matter to me who the president is, and to you, you might not give a damn. You have a choice. Again, your choice of thoughts is the number one choice that everyone has. Actually, the only thing you have complete control over is the way that you think. What you say is a reflection of the things that you think. How did you develop your communication skills? Well, that's going to be in my book on communication coming out this year. So if I'm closed-minded and I stick to my guns and don't care what other people think, that may prevent your, finish that thought. They prevent my blessings. Well, that's your opinion. Again, independent thought, that's your opinion. Closed-minded is an opinion. Closed-minded is an opinion. Somebody could say, I'm not listening to nobody in the world but Donald Trump. I don't care what nobody's opinion is except Donald Trump's. That is a choice. That's their opinion. It's not anybody else's say whether that's good or bad, whether it's blocking their blessings or allowing their blessings. Again, what do you consider to be a blessing? See, somebody could get smacked in their face and say it's a blessing because it taught me something. Somebody else can win $1 million and say it's a curse because it puts too much burden on me. So that's all a matter of opinion. Again, it's the way that you think. You choose to think however you want to think. So some of the things that you're saying is you have some hardwired ideas of what is good and what is bad, what is a good thing to do and a bad thing to do is actually not true. See, anybody can choose what's good or bad for themselves. So somebody could consider what I just said. Let's say I only want to listen to one person talk. I don't care what they say, and it's Donald Trump. That could be good or bad depending on who it is. I love that you're real, but do you think you're a bit aggressive? Yes, I do think I'm a bit aggressive. I do think that. But guess what? That aggression has helped me get things that I want to get in life. And that works for me. And again, aggression can be a positive thing. It can be a negative thing. Again, it's all based on the opinion of the person who's looking at it. Doesn't make it good or bad. It just is what it is. But that's my opinion. Somebody else can listen to this right now and be like, Dre, you're being too passive. You're not being aggressive enough in talking to these people. Again, it's a matter of opinion. But at times people may take it wrong. Well, so that's not my problem. C. McDougal, is not my problem how other people take what I say. It's their problem. If somebody has a problem with the way that I communicate, guess what? They have free will to not listen to me talk. They have free will to not follow my tweets, look at my snaps, or read my books. You have free will to do that. There's 1 billion people in the world right now who have no idea who I am. They're exercising their free will to listen to whoever they want to listen to. Right now, you are exercising your free will to leave comments here. You have a choice here. You understand? Example, we are limited to what we can write but you rushed me. Silly example. Well, then listen, C. McDougal, you have it. You have free will to do what? You're on Periscope. You can start your own stream and express your opinion as clearly, as long as you wish to. Who's stopping you from doing that? Nobody. You're choosing to express yourself in the comments. You could just as well start your own stream and say whatever you want. See, the question is, if there's anybody who gives a damn what you have to say. Now, don't take that personal. That's just the facts. That's just the facts. What's my mindset going into a presentation? Ask me a better question than that. Right on Periscope, we're limited in characters. But right now, I'm not limited. Nobody's limiting what I can do. I can sit here and talk for the rest of the day if I want to. Even if nobody was watching, it's my choice. You can start your own stream right now and say whatever you want. Nobody can stop you. Now, the question is, why aren't you doing it? Now, my theory, I could be wrong, is that you probably have a bigger audience doing the comments right here than you might than doing your own stream right now. Now, I might be wrong about that. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but hey, do your thing. The way people interpret in their own minds is what you're saying. Listen, that's all of life. That's all of life in a nutshell. Anybody can interpret anything the way that they want to. That is the free will of your thoughts. That's what accurate thinking is. Well, accurate thinking is thinking in a way that's based on facts, not based on opinions. I'm wrong. All right, that's what's up. C. McDougal, tell me when your next stream is. Let's see it. I'm interested in hearing what you got to say. Now, I'm looking at your profile. You don't have a description, so tell us what we're gonna get. Tell us. I'm giving you a chance to promote yourself right now. Tell us what we're gonna get if we watch your stream, because I just looked at your profile and you have not. It says user has not provided a profile description. So tell us what we get. How can I ask better questions? Get more accurate in your thinking, which means you need to live more, learn more, and educate yourself more so you can ask better questions. The reason you can't ask me better questions, you don't have enough experience to ask, so you got to get more experience so you learn things. Dre got no chill. No, I got plenty of chill. I mean, if you ask me a question, I'm gonna answer your question. Now, if you come into my domain and question me, then I'm gonna answer your question, but I'm also gonna question you. This is just open conversation. But C. McDougal, again, I just asked. I'm giving you a chance to promote yourself in front of everybody in this stream. If we come to your stream, what are we going to get? Now, I'm waiting for you to give us an answer. I don't think anybody is attracted to a little bit of everything. Like if I say, hey, come see my stream, I'm gonna talk about a little bit of everything. Nobody's interested in that. Now, if I say I'm gonna talk about basketball and how to get better, then there are people who want to hear that. If I say I want to talk about sales, there are people who want to hear that. If I say I want to talk about how to think accurately and ask better questions, we know there's at least one person, M513, who wants to hear how to do that. So you at least let us know what we're going to get. At least let us know. If we watching the WWF, we want to know we watching a wrestling match. If we watching a basketball game, we want to know we watching a basketball game. Now, if you say I'm providing a little bit of everything, nobody wants to hear a little bit of everything. I can hear a little bit of everything anywhere. Why do I need to come listen to you talk about it? That's the question. Self-growth for the most part. All right, that's what's up. So let me ask you this, C. McDougal. If what you talk about is self-growth, why is it not in your profile? Why doesn't anybody know that? I want to know why nobody knows that what you talk about is self-growth. Now, see, I'm open to people questioning my ideas. I don't have a problem with people questioning my ideas. I don't take it personal. It's all just communication. I don't take it. It's all business. You know, it's part of the business. Now, I'm going to question you back. Now, I want to know why nobody knows what's on your... Oh, because you didn't set it up correctly. Okay. Well, maybe you might want to set that up. You might want to take care of that. So maybe some people will come see your stream when you do it later on tonight when you're not at work. See, the thing with me, I'm at work right now. This is my work. Talking to people, having communication, teaching people things that I've learned that they might be able to adopt for themselves. And maybe you can, maybe you can't. And this is for everybody, not any one person. But that's what I do. That's my whole thing, is that empowering people with information that they definitely might not know. I'll go back and add my clothing line link. But see me do, wait a minute. If you're talking about personal development, why do you need a clothing line? Why do people care about a clothing line? Am I preparing for something? I have good communication skills. I'm preparing for everything. Every day I'm preparing. I'm preparing for my next book, my next speech, my next client, the next blog post I write, the next podcast interview I do, the next podcast episode I do, my next show on the Grant Cardone TV network. I'm always preparing for something. Every single thing I do is preparation for more material. Like this conversation right here, I'm going to source this to talk about something else in the future. I might be having a conversation with, my grandma 3 months from now, and something that happened in this stream, I'm going to bring up in a conversation with her. And then she might say something that I might use in my next book. And then you'll read about it in my next book, because you're going to buy it, because it's going to be at DreAllDay.com/Amazon. All my books. All right, can I take one more question, and we're going to wrap this one up? My proceeds go to domestic violence organizations around the world. I pick a different one each time. Well, C. McDougal, you've promoted yourself more in the comments to this stream than you promote yourself on your own profile. So I think you might want to take a look at that, because, you know, marketing and branding is one of my areas of expertise. Now, if you took the same amount of promotion and you put it in your own streams and your own profile, now I'm not going in on you. I'm telling you the truth. Listen, if you hired me to consult you on your marketing and branding, this is exactly what I'll tell you to your face. Now, there's only so many people who are seeing these comments, but if you put this on your profile, then each one of your, you got 125 followers, you know, they would see what you're doing. What's up, Maurice P? How you feeling? One knowing KJ, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm being dead serious. What'll be the name of my next book? My next book is How to Communicate in the Car. Actually, I might call it that. That's a good idea. Thank you, Anastasia. I feel you, C. McDougal. And when you start making those proceeds from your streams, I'm gonna send you an invoice. I'm gonna have my assistant send you an invoice. Yeah, I'm on the Grant Cardone TV network. Got a show called Work on Your Game. That's the name of my company, Work on Your Game. But the show is called Work on Your Game. No, I'm gonna still use the idea, Anastasia. I know you're joking, but I'm gonna actually use that. I might call it like the car, the automobile. I don't know. I gotta come up with something that's related to being in a car or driving and then talking at the same time. Because I don't think nobody else is doing it the way I'm doing it. I'm from Philadelphia, but I live in South Florida. I forgot what I was even gonna say. But anyway, like I was saying, if I was working with you directly, that's what I would tell you to do. Just start marketing and promoting yourself. Best combos are in the car. Okay. This is a funny scope. Well, I'm glad I'm providing some entertainment for some people. Sometimes people see it as entertainment. Some people see it as informational. Some people see it as both. Listen, whatever it is about it that's bringing you back, I'm all for it. I'm all for it. Kay Dumpson says, don't be distracted. I feel like I know you, LOL, but I don't, thanks to Periscope. You know, a lot of people say that to me, and I don't have a problem with that. When people first start saying that to me, this is around 2009, I used to be like, how you think you know me? You don't know me. But now I get it, because if you put out so much of yourself, then I understand that people feel like they have a connection. See, that type of connection is what makes people become, you know, fans. They buy into what you're doing. I'm not married, but I do have a girlfriend. Don't listen to each other in the home. Well, you know what, C. McDougal, that's something you should talk about on your next stream. Tell us when is your next stream. Give me a time. Tell me when the time of your next stream is, because I'm going to come in the comments and ask you a bunch of questions while you talking. When's your next stream? Tell us right now. And we're going to have everybody 9:30 tonight. Let me see what I'm doing 9:30. All right. I think I'm going to catch that. 9:30. Yeah, 9:30 tonight. All right, everybody, y'all watching, go to C. McDougal, and y'all going to watch C. McDougal's live stream at 9:30 tonight. Like, leave another comment, C. McDougal, so I'm going to follow you right now. And tonight at 9:30, I'm going to come on and I'm going to watch your stream and I'm going to see what you're talking about. And you absolutely shout me out. As many times as I done shouted you out in my stream, you shout me out in your stream. All right, so look, you already got more followers. You're already up to 127 already. No, I'm not married. I have a girlfriend, but I'm not married. Yeah, I just gave you some free promotion. So when those shirts sales start popping off, I told you my assistant will be sending you an invoice. It's 3:30 a.m. in Bosnia. Well, you can catch the replay. All right, y'all, I got to wrap this one up. I'm going to talk to y'all later. I got some things to do. Any of y'all want to hit me directly, y'all can follow me on Snapchat at Dre Baldwin, or you can email me. Business inquiries is Dre at DreAllDay.com. Email Dre at DreAllDay.com. Snapchat at Dre Baldwin. All right, C. McDougal. Make sure y'all check C. McDougal's stream. Live 9:30 tonight. Live. Work on your game, DreAllDay. Make sure you get my first book, Buy a Game. It is free. Click the link right here below in the video description. I'm on all your favorite social media platforms, Snapchat, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, Periscope. All the links are right down here below. Is either Dre Baldwin or DreAllDay on each one of those sites. And make sure you are subscribed. Hit that subscribe button down there and the thumbs up like button. Subscribe so you catch all the new content. Work on your game. Dre all day.